Good afternoon. First of all, I want to thank the members of the press for your patience and your understanding. This terrible news hit us really hard, and I want to thank each of you for the time that you've given us that we've needed to process this devastating news and work with the family over the last 24 hours. Yesterday, Detective Mary Lou Armour, a member of our SRPD family, passed away. Again, this is sad news that hit the entire organization hard, and we are all devastated by her loss. Mary Lou was 43 years old. She was a 20-year veteran of the Santa Rosa Police Department and a resident of Napa County. Mary Lou's family has asked for privacy as they grapple with their loss, and therefore I will not be providing any additional personal details at this time. To our SRPD family, Mary Lou was a bright light. She always brought a smile and just had a sense of humor and a kind heart. You could always count on her to be able to lift your day by just saying hi and having that special smile that she had. As we begin to cope with this loss in the midst of the public health crisis, there are a lot of questions, and I will do my best to address them. I learned that Mary Lou had tested positive for COVID-19 on March 24th, 2020. It remains unclear as to how she contracted the virus, but I do know that she took sick I do know that she took sick leave early in March when she began experiencing flu-like symptoms and went into self-quarantine per SRPD protocols. On March 31st, we were notified by the family that Mary Lou had passed away due to complications from COVID-19. The death of Mary Lou Armour is the first line of duty death of a law enforcement officer related to COVID-19 in California. I can share that Detective Armour routinely served our community by responding to local hospitals for victim interviews and examinations as part of the sexual assault response team. She spent much time at Sutter and Aurora hospitals in the week before her symptoms presented, and she also interviewed suspects at the jail. We've worked very closely with other entities to make sure that they're aware of any particular contacts that she might have had. I worked very closely with Mary Lou at the beginning of her career as she started as a field evidence technician in 1999. She was very diligent in what she did. She was very thorough in the work that she provided us as detectives. And her work product was a shining example of what she would do as a police officer. After having a very successful career as an FET, she continued on and became a police officer. And I worked closely with her and had the opportunity to supervise her on one of my first night shifts where she was a police officer on the west side of town. Again, our family is struggling with this loss, but we are strong and we will continue to serve the community as we have in the last several weeks. Transparency is a priority for the department, and as test results become available, this information will be shared with the public. To date, and this is the most recent information that I have, we have had 107 COVID-19 tests that have been administered to Santa Rosa Police Department employees. 95 of those have tested negative. There are currently 9 have tested positive and 3 are pending results. Of that, we have had Mary Lou's death. 7 of those are in home isolation, and we have fortunately have had 1 recovered. There are currently 15 people in quarantine total. Again, 7 of those are positive, 3 of those are pending, and we have 5 more in isolation due to at-risk medical conditions or travel. The Santa Rosa Police Department continues to communicate health and safety protocols and direct employees that are experiencing flu-like symptoms to self-quarantine and contact their healthcare provider. The department has also overhauled our scheduling model for patrol teams based on public safety best practices during this pandemic. This means limiting interactions with our public and the patrol teams as much as possible by extending periods of time off to self-isolate. In addition to our new work schedule measures, the department continues to practice exceptional hygiene and social distancing whenever possible. In addition to this, we need the public's help. We need you to help us, help you by staying home. Together, if we do this, we can save lives. I want to close out by stating that wearing the SRPD badge makes us public servants. We don't know when or even how that service will come to an end, but it is a calling that we return to day after day in service to our community. We here at the police department will continue to provide essential services to the community and respond to priority and emergency calls for service. Again, I want to thank all of you for your time and your patience with us as we deal with this tragedy amongst the Santa Rosa Police Department family. And I want to Mary Lou's family, I want you to know that you're in our thoughts and prayers at this time. I'm going to now turn it over to the Santa Rosa Police Department Police Officers Association President, Stefan Passell.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Santa Rosa Police Officers Association, I want to first send out our thoughts and prayers to Mary Lou's family, her coworkers, her friends, and her community. This is a tragic event impacting many lives at an unprecedented time. It's well known that a career as a public servant, specifically as a law enforcement officer, comes with an elevated risk. That being said, it's also one of the biggest challenges a police department, a family, or a community can face in losing one of their own. We have a strong department and a stronger community, and we will support each other moving forward. My relationship with Mary Lou Armour has lasted over the past 20 years in both a professional and personal capacity. Professionally, it started as an accident investigator and having her respond in the middle of the night to investigate fatality that resulted from collisions. Her work was diligent and very much appreciated. Lastly, our paths crossed professionally as a detective in our domestic violence sexual assault unit, where she was an example to other detectives on how to complete investigations and at the end of the day be a person and show empathy and professionalism. One thing I want to emphasize, in addition to being a police officer, Mary Lou was obviously a great human being. My wife and I were very close with Mary Lou over the years. When my wife and I first started dating, we spent a lot of time with Mary Lou. She was a bridesmaid at a wedding, and we had attended her wedding as well. And I wanted to share a story about last night after going home to my wife. When I got home, my wife had gone through a box of our pictures and pulled out a bunch of photos of Mary Lou with us and other people, coworkers, family, wedding pictures. And we talked about what we might say about Mary Lou if asked by our community or the press or coworkers. And the one thing that we can say was she was a genuine human being that served her community to the best of her abilities. And she was a dedicated friend to everybody she met. And she'll be sorely missed. She was very passionate about her friendships, her family, and her profession, and it showed everything she did. I want to close with one other thing. This is a trying time for our community, for the police department, for government leadership. This is not something that we plan for, we talk about, but inevitably it could happen to an agency. We have set up a fund for Mary Lou Armour and her family, and it's at the PORAC.org website. We've partnershiped with them to conduct some fundraising on behalf of the family to pay for their expenses during this trying time. So if you are interested in donating to that fund, you can go at porac.org. It's PORAC.org. It's called Fund a Hero, and it's the Santa Rosa Police Officer Mary Lou Armour Family Fund. And in closing, I just want to say I appreciate you guys and your patience in us dealing with this trying time. It hurts, and I think it shows. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Mayor Tom Schwedhelm. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. As Stefan mentioned, my name is Tom Schwedhelm. I'm the current mayor of the city of Santa Rosa, and I had the privilege of working during my tenure in the police department. Today, we're a community in mourning. The tragic loss of Detective Armour underscores the serious fight we're up against. Each one of us must take personal responsibility right now to do all we can to stop the spread of this virus. This means we must follow strict guidelines now to stay home, maintain 6 feet of social distancing. As a reminder, the shelter-in-place order from the Sonoma County Public Health Officer has been extended through May 3rd, meaning we must remain diligent and stay home to save lives for at least another 4 weeks. A very limited number of essential activities are allowed, such as shopping for essential items, but whenever we're out and about, we must be diligent to maintain at least 6 feet of social distancing between ourselves and other people. Through the shelter-in-place order, the city of Santa Rosa and all of Sonoma County are taking aggressive action to combat the spread of this deadly virus. I understand just how difficult the situation is and want to say how appreciative I am of so many of our community for their ongoing cooperation and the sacrifices that are being made. By working together and following the directions of our health professionals now, I believe we can flatten the curve and prevent the worst outcomes. Please stay at home, maintain social distance, wash your hands frequently, and stay healthy. Thank you.